Welcome back to episode 3 of Jumping Off the Dock podcast. Thanks for tuning in as Daniel and Trey continue the conversation from last episode.
We've been serious about this the whole time.
Yeah.
You having fun?
Yeah.
You feel loose and free?
I do.
Does this feel comfortable and natural?
It does feel comfortable. It really does. It's more natural than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I thought I would feel kind of weird.
Yeah.
But this is what I do every day.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're flying all over the country. Yeah. You're going to Tennessee and you're going around. You're talking with people. You're getting insights from people on well, you're not getting insights, but you're giving insights to people on leading in schools. Because that's a lot of your background.
It is.
What's one of your favorite stories from when you were teaching? It doesn't have to be a funny story. It can be a sentimental story. It can be. What's one of your favorite memories from when you were teaching?
Oh, man, I got too many. I think I don't know if I'd say this on the podcast, but so I taught science. Okay. And I love teaching. When I was I taught middle school, which a lot of people think I'm crazy, mentally crazy anyway, because I was a middle school teacher.
That's insanity.
But I taught middle school, and that's where most of my early part of my educational career and journey really started, was middle school. And so I was teaching middle school science, and I was teaching inner city school, and talking about 100% free and reduced lunch, 100% poverty rate, like inner city.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, the school I was teaching at, I won't say the name, but the school I was teaching at, my second year there or third year there, Newsweek published an article, and the town, the city, if you can even call it a city, that we were in was ranked the 6th most dangerous city in America per violent crime rating.
Healthy place.
Oh yeah, great place to raise kids. So, but anyway, but that was the whole reason. That was the whole premise of why the school was put there.
Yeah.
Which in turn really put a burning sensation in my heart to want to be there, because those were the only kids that I had ever really served and worked with, and I loved the community, and the community embraced me, and to be honest, I used to tell my kids that when I grew up, where I grew up was only probably 4 or 5 minutes from the school.
Oh, okay.
And so really it was, I mean, I didn't live in that little town or whatever you want to call it, but I was not too far from it. And so it was really like going back home for me. So I had this, here's what drove me ultimately to the lab. Okay. And it's a very funny story. But what drove me there was I was standing in front of them one day, and I said, close your eyes and think about, we were talking about land and how, rivers and creeks and tributaries lead to the deltas, and then the deltas, obviously lead to the, we got inlets and brackish water. So we were talking about that type of stuff. And I was like, close your eyes, everybody, and think about, like, you're standing on the beach in the sand, you hear the waves. And I had probably 80% of my class. They were kind of sitting there looking at me, and they were staring at me, and they were looking at each other. And I'm like, close your eyes. And then it dawned on me.
They ain't
never been to the beach.
They ain't been. Wow.
And they didn't know. So they didn't know what I was even talking about. I had probably 5 kids in the class that had ever been outside of the city to the beach. And so I'm like, okay, this has got to change, right? And so I'm like, okay, what can I do to really bring some experience right here? So I thought, okay, we're getting restarted union on physical change and chemical change. I'll go to Ingles and buy a cooler and some dry ice, right? So you can tell this is going to get real fun quick. So I bought some dry ice, and I took it to school, and we done some experiments with chemical change and sublimation, and how carbon dioxide switches colors, and just some fun stuff. And a lot of them had never seen dry ice before, so it was just a cool effect to see it steaming and all that stuff. So for some odd reason, I let one of my brighter kids say, hey, let's what happens if we put it in this 2-liter Pepsi bottle? And against my better judgment, I'm like, let's go find out.
Let's find out.
So we had the bus loop in the back of the school, and so I told him, I was like, if we get some warm water, this will go much faster. So he says, all right, I'll go talk to Miss Laura, who was our instructional coach and who actually is a really close friend of mine, and even till today. And so he went and got her to microwave him a cup of water. And so he comes back, and we're getting ready to go to lunch, and I take the 2-liter bottle and the dry ice. We got into the bus loop, and we throw the dry ice in there and screw the lid down on it and throw it out in the bus loop. And when that thing exploded, okay, it sounded like an atomic bomb went off, because what I wasn't thinking about was that we were inside of 3 there was 3 brick buildings where we were at, and we were in the bus loop, and this way we were situated, like we were in a hole. And I wasn't anticipating the fact that when this thing goes off, like it's going to echo out of here like crazy. And man, when it went off, I turned and looked, and I couldn't find but like 4 kids. I had 3 hiding behind buildings. There was 4 hiding and climbed a tree. The janitor lady who had come out of the cafeteria to dump the cafeteria, the lunch trash, was hiding behind her 2 trash cans. Like, I felt terrible at that moment. I look back now, and it is a funny story. But I thought that day I was getting fired.
Yeah, you walk into the the administrator's office there.
Right. So this dry ice expedition continues. So nobody said anything. Okay. So I'm like, okay, this is good.
They're afraid you're going to blow up the building. So what do you think?
We can't say that we can't say that about schools now. We'll get arrested. We can't talk about blowing stuff up. But what's funny is that we go to lunch, and of course the kids are laughing, and at that point now they're laughing, having a good time with it, right? Because they're not scared that thing goes off. So they're asking us to go blow another bottle up, and of course I'm like, no, I want to keep my job. And so we go inside, and I have I think I'm teaching like 5 or 6 periods, and so 7th period gets here. We're getting ready to dismiss, and this little boy comes to me, and he says, hey, I think my siblings who were at the elementary school, and he had some cousins, and I think there were like 10 or 12 people living in their home. And he's like, can I take the rest of this home? I think my little brothers and sisters would really like to see this, and, it'd be cool for them. And I'm like, okay, I got a Ziploc bag, and, I'm like, listen, here's the deal. I'm going to give you this cooler. I'm going to take it was a bunch of little crumbs and little broken pieces left. There wasn't a whole lot left. I said, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it in this Ziploc bag, I'm going to zip it shut, and I'm going to give you this styrofoam cooler. You take the cooler home, do not open it on the bus. When you get home, it's in a Ziploc bag. That way you don't have to touch it. And I said, but do not get this out on the bus. And I knew all the bus drivers, because most of the time I was at bus duty or whatever, and so I knew all of them. And I said, I'm going to go out there to the bus loop with you and let the bus driver know. And we may even talk the bus driver letting you keep the cooler next to them, because you don't need to have it filling with it. Okay. Yes, sir, Mr. Forster. Yes, sir. So the bell goes off. He takes the cooler, and I was like, I'll be out there. And they go to Holden right first until their bus is called. And I was, I'll be right there. I need to clean up, make sure everybody gets out. So the bell goes off. They're dismissed. They go down the hallway. It wasn't 30 seconds, and here comes a kid. Mr. Forster, bathroom's on fire. Bathroom's on fire. And I was like, what? So I'm in a dead sprint down the hallway, thinking the bathroom's on fire, thinking one of the high schoolers that didn't come down, and, without saying I don't need to say anymore. And I'm like, what in the world? I go running in there, and all I see is Laura, the same Laura, coming out of the bathroom with this little boy in the cooler. And I said, what is going on? And literally there is smoke coming out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, it's not smoke from anything burning. It's carbon dioxide smoke.
Dry ice.
And he looks at me, and he's Laura, in her humor that made a lot of people love her, which is very dry. She looks at me and she says, we just had a really cool science experiment. And I was like, okay. She said, you know our inner body temperature is 98.6 degrees. And I was like, yes, I do that. She said, so that means that all of our bodily fluids are very warm. So he thought if he used the bathroom on the dry ice, it would make it bubble faster. And it did. It was a great experiment. We learned a lot today. So he had taken the dry ice and dumped it in the toilet, and then thought, hey, if I pee on this, it's going to make it go really fast, of which it did. And so as the dry ice was bubbling out of the toilet, it smoked the bathroom up, of which the little boy thought the bathroom was on fire. And it was not on fire. It was just full of carbon dioxide from the dry ice. So that's just one of many stories.
We learn more from our mistakes than we do our successes.
Yes, we did. We learned a lot from that mistake as to don't send kids home with dry ice. And I look back, and I was young too.
Yeah.
And I was probably...
Absolutely. It's a different day now. You would never
like
do
in my
that
third
now.
year.
Yeah.
Third year teaching,
yeah.
probably. And I look back now, and it was a different climate, different political environment. But it's still, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
You know, that was probably not the smartest choice.
I think
but funny, yeah.
My youngest is in 4th grade, and my most traumatizing memory is in 4th grade. It was. We had gone. They had a gap.
Did you pee on dry ice, Daniel?
I peed on myself.
Oh God. Traumatizing. Okay.
No, this is one of those situations where, right before the end of the school year, or Christmas break or one of the breaks or whatever, it's kind of like a lull. Mm-hmm. There's not really a lot of teaching going on. It's just kind of a whatever. And so, you're playing games, you're having classroom activities, but you're not doing active learning. Here's, do these 5 math problems, that kind of stuff. It wasn't any of that. And so people kept asking, hey, can I go to the restroom? Can I go to the restroom? Can I go to the restroom? And sure as the day, the teacher finally got fed up. And she said, there is nobody else going to the restroom. Don't even ask me. Don't even ask me. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go. And sure enough.
So you did.
I was scared. I was playing Oregon Trail. I was sitting over there.
Was it the old floppy disk one?
Oh, yeah.
The old floppy disk?
We're old, man.
Yeah.
That was what we did.
The little guy with the little white bullet.
Yeah. And that day, Daniel died of dysentery. We died of dysentery that day. Because, honest to goodness, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I've got to go. And I remember I was up. I was walking around the room. I was doing everything I could, and she had it. But in today's climate... If that had happened, oh Lord, you'd have a parent on your doorstep. You didn't let my child go to the bathroom. Yeah. You did. Oh, I can't believe you.
Well, Yeah, speaking of the climate that we're in, it's like in the political climate that we live in now. It's like today, even today. Yeah. I locked my keys in the car, and for the 3rd time in 2 days. Yeah, I know. Don't laugh at me.
We learn more from our mistakes than we do.
I see a theme.
I know what we're titling, not the podcast. It's jumping off the dock.
Yeah, so we do learn from our mistakes, and I'm going to, when we finish recording, I'm going to go get me a spare key made. It's weird, but I won't get into all the stuff about my stupid truck and how it operates when the key's in the ignition. So anyway... But I locked my keys in the truck and my phone, and so I was at a school, and people that I know there called the fire department because they have people that's literally 3 minutes down the road.
Right.
Of which I probably thought I would know somebody at the fire department too. They pulled in 3 minutes, boom, unlock my truck, I'm off, and then I get a message that they got to call the 1-800 hotline at the district to let them know there was an emergency vehicle at the school, and And now, I understand why. It's as trivial as it seems to me, being in the district, knowing people in the district, my brother being the director of security in the district. I understand why they do it. But it's such a shift, right, in the political climate. And
because you're going to have a parent
where
call.
we live. Right, because you're going to have some parent drive by, call the news, or call the district.
Thanks for listening to Jump Off the Dock. Tune in next time as Trey and Daniel continue the conversation. Visit leadingimpact.org for blogs and leadership resources. For questions or pricing, email Trey at leadingimpact.org. We are ready to help you flip fear to courage.